Welcome back to another episode of Unboxing Boxes. On deck today we have 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 boxes. Well, 4 in a package. Satchel thing. So without wasting any time, let's get into it. No silly intros this time. We don't have time for that. Plenty of testing at the moment. But I thought we should get into these. There's actually a few things in a couple of these boxes I need for some reviews and videos and things next week. That's a really large but light box. It's a case box for a case we reviewed a while ago on the channel. So I don't think the case is in there because it is very light. Probably look at that one last. That one's also light. Okay, so this is by far the heaviest package we have. Where's my knife? Got it. It's all good, you can stop looking. So we'll start with what is the heaviest package. And we'll see if there's anything good in it. You ready? Thankfully, these aren't breakable. What they are giant lumps of metal, I believe. Aluminium, to be precise. These are the new Noctua coolers for the TR4 socket, which is Threadripper. So we have a 14mm, 12mm, and it looks like probably a 90mm cooler. So Noctua just sent these over. I don't believe they're on sale yet, so I don't have pricing information. I'm not sure when you'll be able to buy them, but these are looks like full retail packaging, so they can't be too far away. Let's take a look, shall we? We'll start with the biggest one, which is the NHU14S TR4-SP3. We have the standard sort of off-brown / brown, very sexy colour theme from Noctua, their stock standard. So in this little kit that comes with it, you get a very large tube of thermal paste, which is awesome. Looks like a fan limiter, couple of rubber mounts, and you also get a hex driver for installing the CPU in the socket, though it's not a torque driver, so you sort of got to be careful with how much you tighten the socket. You don't want to over tighten it. Anyway, so you might be thinking, well, apart from the fact that this is a very big air cooler, what makes it a Threadripper air cooler? And again, as some of you probably know, the Threadripper CPUs are simply massive. They've got a huge heat spreader on them. I don't know if you can see that one there, but anyway, they're very big, and most of the coolers only cover about 50% of the surface area on the top of the cooler, which they still run at reasonable temperatures, but obviously if you can cover the entire heat spreader with a base plate, that's the way to go. And that's why the base plate on these things is Threadripper massive. Because they are so big though, you can't install these on other platforms. So they will only come with a TR4 mounting kit, which as you can see is pre-installed. Already, I've given you guys a little bit of misinformation. This isn't for installing Threadripper, so forget everything I said about this because, you know, I don't read manuals and stuff. This is quite clearly too small for that. I thought that when I said it, but of course I just said it anyway. This is actually for securing the heatsink to the socket mounts. So, like so, it goes on these. So it's quite tight on the edge of the heatsink there, but it looks like you can get to it. So anyway, yeah, don't try and use that for installing the CPU in the socket because it won't work. It'll just spin around and do nothing. So the heatsink does stand 158mm tall. I'm not sure if that includes the fan or not installed because the fan does poke a fair bit above and it is quite tall. It's basically 700 grams, 695 grams, so it's a heavy sucker. But yeah, basically I'm very keen to cover this thing in thermal paste, whack it on the Threadripper CPU and see what kind of temperatures we get at 4 GHz on something like the 6950X with all cores running at 4 GHz. Alright, so we're now getting into the NHU12S TR4-SP3. So this is the slightly smaller version of what we just looked at, if I can get it out of the box. So far I can't. No wonder the camera's run out of batteries during these unboxing boxes episodes. I'm sure there's an easier way to do that, but whatever. That was the hard way to do it. So you get the same little accessories package. You get a nice big thing of thermal paste, and you get this little Allen key thing, which is for installing the cooler to the mounting. So yeah, that's what that's for. Anyway. Oh, God, I'm a nuffer. I just realised, and you guys are probably well aware, I was reading the specifications for this off the wrong box. Oh, I need to get some sleep. Okay, rewind quickly. This cooler is actually 865 grams without the fan and 1,030 grams with the fan. So it is in fact a kilo. I thought it felt like it was at least a kilo, so it is a smidgen over. And it is taller than 158 millimeters like I thought it was. It's 165 millimeters. So yeah, my review on that a second ago was completely wrong. 165 millimeters tall, and it's 130 grams with the fan installed. Obviously a 140 millimeter fan. Anyway, moving forward. This one, which I just told you the specifications for, 870 grams in total, 158 millimeters tall, and it's the 120 millimeter version. So a bit more compact. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like we've got 5 heat pipes on this one. I think they're a bit thinner as well. No, they're much the same, I think. Just one less heat pipe. But of course, the base plate is the same. Big, nice Threadripper base plate. So now that I've perfectly executed those first two products, I'm absolutely going to nail this third one. Okay, so this is a U-type cooler with a 92mm fan, the U9, this one. So it'll have a cute little fan compared to the other ones. Similar accessories package. It looks like there's a few slightly, there's a fan splitter in there, but other than that, all the same. This looks much more like what you would find in a server. Again, it's a Threadripper, only works on Threadripper sockets, TR4 sockets, so you get the huge base plate. That's great to see. That should work well. Ton of heat pipes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in total, so it's just a wall of heat pipes under this thing. Pair of 92mm fans in push-pull, so that'll push and pull lots of air through that array of fins. Should do a good job. I'm also keen to see how loud this is and how good of a job it does on Threadripper, say the 16-core model with all cores at 4 GHz. That would be interesting to see. Of course, I will test all three of them, so you will see exactly that. Okay, so there's the new Noctua coolers. Sorry about the mix-ups there and the misinformation. Wasn't on my A game, I'll admit. Probably one of my worst unboxings. Hopefully it didn't come out too poorly. But I have a few more boxes to redeem myself. Hopefully we can get this show back on the road. I'm going to sit these down there. Alright, time to make a much needed recovery. We'll go for this big box. Hopefully it's got something in here that can save me. Alright, I haven't had a look inside this yet. Let's do it together. We'll go for the money shot. That's looking alright. That's looking pretty good. What have we got here? Aorus graphics card. Ooh, a GTX 1080 Ti. Thank you very much. Extreme Edition. We've already looked at the Extreme Edition, so that's interesting. Hopefully it's not something else. They've just used this box. Slightly concerned. Slightly... Oh, does it not say that on the front? Hang on. I don't want to mess this up. Ah, yes, okay. This is a very important thing to note here. There's a little icon logo thing here, and it says Water Force. This is the Water Force version of the Extreme Edition. I don't know why that isn't more obvious on the box. It doesn't really say it there either, but I did spot a picture on the back here that says it is the all-in-one cooling system Water Force version. So that means it's got a 120mm radiator, all-in-one. I'll stop talking about it, let's get it out and take a look. I've been trying to get my hands on a card like this, or this particular model, for quite some time. Has not been easy. You guys keep saying to me, Steve, can you review some realistic cards we can afford? I'd love to, but at the moment, all I can get is 1080 Ti's. They're actually easier to get for review right now than an RX 580 or anything pretty much Radeon based. So we're stuck with 1080 Ti reviews for now, but I'm quite happy with that. Let's get this sucker out. Even GTX 1070s are very hard to come by. So yeah, hopefully we'll have some board partner Vega cards coming soon. That'll be exciting. Alright, it is indeed the Waterforce card. Ooh, well that looks a bit special now, doesn't it? There you have it. An all-in-one liquid-cooled 1080 Ti. So it's obviously still a dual slot card. It's got quite a large pump and block on top of where the GPU would be. Looks like a very big copper base plate as well. Looks like there's at least one copper heat pipe there which covers the VRM. Looks like it goes from next to the GPU water block to the VRM. So it's definitely an all-in-one cooled solution. There are actually no fans at all on this one. So yeah, the radiator is cooling everything on the card. Well, this was a nice surprise. I was not expecting this card at all. I've been asking you to buy it for a while, but didn't know it was coming. I believe 1,500 Aussie dollars is what you can expect to pay for this guy. It's about $820 US. So the MSRP is $700 US. So obviously you're paying a premium for this card, but it is liquid cooled. It's going to run extremely cool, extremely quiet. I'm not sure if that'll allow us to overclock it any further. You should definitely be able to run the card at 2 GHz with all those CUDA cores. And yeah, it'll do that while being quiet. So that's obviously a big, huge bonus there. Probably worth paying the premium for, especially if you like a high-end but quiet system. So as I mentioned, it does have a copper cold plate, copper block. It is a 2-slot design. It has a 12 plus 2-phase power design. I believe I'm quoting that correctly. Out of the box, it will run at a boost frequency, well, quoted boost frequency of 1721 megahertz. It'll naturally run much higher than that. I expect at least 1.9 gigahertz. And the base frequency is 1607 megahertz. So a little factory overclock there. That's with the gaming mode. And a really cool thing about this card that isn't in the performance specifications is the fact that it comes with a 4-year warranty. So that is very nice indeed. You can see here it's got a pair of 8-pin dual 8-pin power inputs, so that's more than sufficient for a 1080 Ti. Looks like we've got a HDMI output on the rear of the card, so you can use that for VR link and stuff like that. There's another 2 HDMIs on the I/O and a DVI port and 3 display ports, so you can go triple display port monitors if you want to. It's got a plastic shroud on it. It isn't the usual sort of aluminium that you find on the Extreme cards, so a little disappointing, but it looks fine anyway. And really, I'm more interested in how cool and quiet it runs. Decent backplate. It's not the extreme backplates you normally see on the Extreme Edition cards. It's more of the sort of, I think we saw that on the lower end, like the 1060 and RX 580. But with this thing sucking so much of the heat away from the card, it's probably not that important. Probably not much else needs to be said about this for now. Very excited to have it. And I don't think I messed any of that up too much. We'll sit that aside for the moment. Let's have a look in this little white, weightless box, what we've got. Found it. Very good. I need this. Actually, this is going to come in very handy when I test all those heat sinks, because I'm going to need a truckload of it. So I know I've got at least one tube in here. So this is Grizzly's thermal paste. This was provided by PC Case Gear, so big thanks to those guys for sending that over. Timing could not have been better on that one. So I haven't actually used this particular type yet. I think it is liquid metal. It is indeed liquid metal. Sort of not that keen on liquid metal at the moment. Yeah, I'll talk about that a bit later. But I'm keen to give this stuff a try anyway. Don't know if I'll use it on those heat sinks though. I'll probably go for your more traditional thermal paste. But anyway, I will be doing something with this stuff soon. I'll check it out and let you guys know what I think of it. And this is kind of an important one. Don't use with aluminium heat sinks. It will eat away at them. So although that's a nickel plated copper base, I'm not sure how it goes with that stuff, the nickel plated stuff. It's probably okay. But anyway, I'm not really a fan of liquid metal. I believe the Thermal Grizzly brand make awesome thermal compound stuff. So I'll speak to the guys at PC Case Gear, and yeah, I'll get back to you guys on that. Anyway, we'll move right along. We'll go for this one because this is actually another item sent from PC Case Gear. I purchased this through those guys last week, so they were pretty quick to fulfill that order. So that's nice. And this is one you guys have been recommending, or not recommending, and this is one you guys have been requesting I look at for quite some time, and I just haven't been able to buy them, but they're in stock now. And what is it, you ask? It is the new APUs. Well, it's not technically the newest APUs. We're still waiting on Zen-based APUs, Zen architecture APUs. It isn't based on the Zen architecture, so it still uses excavator cores, excavator architecture, but it is able to be installed on an AM4 motherboard, so you can take advantage of the new B350 chipset, for example. You can overclock it on that. And you can also use DDR4 memory, which will no doubt help with the Radeon R7 graphics, which is integrated into the chip because it is an APU. And it runs at up to 4.2 gigahertz out of the box. I believe it has a base frequency of 3.8. That isn't written on the box, but I think it's 3.8. And they advertise it's an 8 compute unit GPU. So I think that's 512 stream processors. As you can tell, I don't know too much about it yet, but I did buy it because you guys have been requesting I review it, so I'll do all the appropriate research soon, chuck it in the system, test it out, and see if it is worthy of the asking price. I think it's worth about 110 US, about 150 Aussie, so very entry-level, affordable for what it offers, CPU and sort of GPU solution in one integrated GPU. Yeah, so glad to have that. More testing to be done. Okay, well, I've got some pretty good products so far, and it's all stuff I plan to test on the channel the next week or two. I really want to get onto those new Threadripper heatsinks ASAP. Very keen to test this out. Hopefully I'll get to that soon. And then obviously this one, which has been heavily requested, I'll have to get onto that as well. Probably do a build with that as well, using a low-end AM4 motherboard and stuff like that. All right, anyway, last box on today's agenda. The mystery box. What do we have in here? Okay, foam. Oh. Oh. I've been waiting for this for a while. Ta-da! It's a dusty Threadripper package. So, Threadripper box, and I've been waiting for this for a while. I want to use this in my personal rig, which will be using the MSI X39 Carbon Pro board, which I've shown on the channel before, but that will be going in my personal rig. So this will be my new editing build, new processor for my editing rig. So the board I'm speaking of is this guy right here. Very sleek and sexy looking X399 motherboard from MSI. It's got a pair of 8-pin power inputs. It's actually really well priced, this board. It's one of the cheaper X399 boards on the market. I think it's $350 US, which is obviously still makes it a pricey motherboard, but as far as X399 boards go, it's actually quite affordable, especially considering it has a heap of really nice features, pretty much everything you need on one of these boards. Yeah, definitely covers everything I'm going to need. So yeah, that's the board I'll be using. And finally, I now have the CPU I'll be using, because I can't just throw in the 1950X CPU I already have, because I can't really benchmark my editing rig. It doesn't really work that way. So I need two of these. So here is number two. Well, You've already seen me unbox this on the channel, so there really isn't much point doing it again, though I am keen to have a look inside. Maybe we'll do a technically correct unboxing, because the fun unboxings that a few guys like myself and Jay and other YouTubers did upset. They triggered a few people. They didn't like watching us fumble around and try to be entertaining. So we're going to do this. We're going to do this correctly and see if that helps set the record straight. So here we go. Threadripper box. There is a Threadripper CPU inside, and we're going to take it out in a sensible and efficient fashion. So rather than tear this all, we've got this knife handy here. So we're just going to run that through there like so. Beautifully done, stayed within the lines. Now we're just going to grab, look at that, just grab the tab and it comes out like that, look at that. Doesn't get any easier. So far we're doing really well here. So now, I know it says unlock the power. It's so tempting just to go, oh, unlock the power, I'm excited, I've got a new Threadripper CPU, let's do that first. If you do that, you're an idiot. Idiots do that. I just want to make that clear, don't do that. Alright, what you want to do is, once you've taken the exterior cardboard papery thing off, you want to lift. That's all you want to do, just lift like that. That's how it's done. Put that aside, somewhere safe, out of the way. Next step, it's quite simple. This just lifts out. Now, if you've already undone this, as soon as you lift this out, it's going to fall out. You're going to look bloody stupid. So you don't want that to happen. So now, look at this. Look how smoothly this is all going. Now, what you want to do is lay it down flat, just carefully. Now unlock in the direction it tells you, so anti-clockwise, and voila, just comes out like that. You don't drop anything and look like a turkey. This thing's now, you don't need that, and you've got this. Okay, now lay it down flat, because you don't want to be holding it and risk dropping the processor out and looking like a buffoon. Grab the metal tab, pull that out, and like that. That's it. Easy. Then you just grab, you got to be careful lifting this because this could fall apart right now because we've taken the safety tab off. You want to grab these two side tabs, press them down, and that pops off like that. You want to make sure that's laying flat so that doesn't fall out. And then, this is crucial, make sure you do this right. You grab this orange tab and you just lift up and then pull. And there you go, pops out. It's a little aggressive, it's a little crude, but it comes out like that. And then there you go, you've got your Threadripper CPU. You can put that aside now. And that is unboxing complete, start to finish. Nailed that absolutely perfectly. Now, the temptation here is to go, wow, that's a sexy looking processor, but it's in an orange caddy and that's just gross. I don't want to do my B-roll with that gross orange thing around. Let's take it out. Don't do that. I know the temptation's there. You do that, you're going to trigger the whole internet. People are going to tell you that you're a moron because you need this orange thing to install it. I don't care if you put text on the screen saying be careful with the orange thing, don't throw it away because it's important. Just don't take it out. There's no need. All right, just put up with it being there, and that's what we're going to do. So there is my 1950X in the orange plastic caddy thing. We're not going to take it out, and whatever you do, don't touch any of the contact pads on the back. That is absolutely vital. You do that in the CPU, you might as well throw it away. So there we go. We're going to install that later, do some benchmarking, and we've done that to perfection. Now, in case you don't know, in the bottom here, you've got an instruction manual. I've already done that, so I've learnt my lesson. Torque screw for doing it up, no worries, and then a bracket if you have an Asus Tech all-in-one liquid cooler, which we probably won't be using because we've got the Noctua coolers now. Oh, I'm messing this up. There we go, got it out. Starting to sweat. Alright, so there it is. Bad unboxing Threadripper, thing of the past. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Unboxing Boxes. Started off a bit shaky, but I think we kind of got there in the end. It's a, different kind of episode, but I needed a break. I've actually been just going, my brain is a bit fried because I've been going through entry after entry for upgrade my PC, please. Don't get me wrong, I'm super, super happy, very stoked and pleased that so many of you guys have taken the time to put really good high quality submissions in. We're still trying to push for quite a few guys to provide better photos, but some of you are coming through with those. But yeah, we've had well over 500 submissions now, and a lot of them are very good. So I've been spending hours and hours and hours going through them and narrowing the list down for the first episode, and then, we'll use them throughout the season. Of course, you can keep submitting your PC to be included in Upgrade My PC, please, as the season goes on, so the submissions won't close. You can add them whenever. But if you are going to provide a submission, really high quality photos, go for. I mean, even if you only have a smartphone or something, take the computer case outside, use natural light, it'll improve it massively. We're getting so many high ISO photos that are just black basically. So take the time, wait till the next day if it's at night when you're doing your submission. You can add the photos in at any time. We're talking to you guys. It's a private thread with just you and the staff. So yeah, anyway, that's pretty much why I'm a bit exhausted, because that's harder than benchmarking going through all those submissions, but I really appreciate all the guys that have submitted their stuff. And yeah, it's really good. Hopefully we can have a successful first episode in a few days' time. Anyway, that does it for this episode of Unboxing Boxes. I'm your host, Steve. I'll see you again soon.